Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's breakdown. I am C2 and will be the host, and with me is professional Rocket League coach, Coach Scully. As you guys probably already know, he's been a coach for 2 years, an academy coach at Melon Patch Gaming, Vanta League, and the YMCA. He is also a RLCS caster, and today we will break down EXO versus Heatwave. Uh, so, this game is a Division 3 game, which goes from basically Platinum to Champ 1. This was played earlier today as one of our streamed matches if you want to go back and watch the rest of the series. And Coach Scully, I will let you take it from here.
Hey man, it's good to be here this week. I know last week we had some scheduling issues. We missed out on a little bit, but we are back with a vengeance this week as we have a Division 3 matchup. So a little bit on the lower side, but you know what? We're going to challenge ourselves here. Instead of pointing out every mistake, which we're still going to do. I mean, it's Coach Scully. I got to tell you what's wrong. I want to try to figure out and find exactly why this team won. The things that these guys did to find the victory here today, and these guys being Heatwave, correct?
Yes.
All right. All right, they weren't labeled on the screen right here, as you can see. So, Firework, Cryo Wolf, and Mexican Mexican Heat.
Yeah.
Alrighty, I'm ready for this. I've already looked at these, and I found some impressive things that I liked, a lot of things that I don't like. We'll go through a bit of both of them. This is that lower level replay, so those of you on the lower end of the Rocket League spectrum can definitely do to learn with some things to put into the replays into your gameplay here. Like here, Firework puts that down, and everybody just yeets out of there on a ball that they could have taken. And then struggling right there. As you can see, we've had this situation talked about on this channel many times where two people double up into the corner on their transition back. Look, everybody's got a job. Everybody's got a role to fulfill on the field on the transition. We've said it a million times. One person towards the ball, one person towards the net, one person behind them. Right? We want front post, back post, and ball carrier. Those are the three jobs we want filled, right? We have two people on the ball carrier side of things right now. That makes things very confusing. Right? And then, like I said, we weren't going to harp on too many mistakes, but they just yeeted out of a play that they could have won and then came back like this, that it could not be unspoken. X and Heat puts that nicely. I love Cryo Wolf's shallow rotate here, right? He doesn't go all the way back to net because he knows Mexican Heat's got that covered behind him. Instead, he moves to maintain possession, and he's keeping himself in a lot of positions to do that. The communications and disciplines that this team has right now. Look, Cryo wants to go up, Firework's already up. He's already got it. He goes back down. Then stays shallow. Not so shallow that he can't react, but shallow enough that he is present. He can be there. Perfect, almost perfect distance would have been. I would have called it perfect had he actually nailed that shot in.
Yeah. And throughout the series, you do notice that Cryo Wolf is a pretty amazing second man.
It's really been one of the best I've seen, and I'm talking pro replays that I've seen. This man is playing at a phenomenal level of second man in this replay. Or at least in this particular replay, he's doing much better than many other squads that I've seen. Disrupting a little bit there as first. Firework. I love this. All right, Cryo Wolf comes in, sees the support. This is how you support your teammates, guys. You support their wins, you support their losses. Mexican Heat comes up here, completely whiffs that ball. Cryo Wolf is there. If he wins that ball and sends it midfield, he can go for it. If he loses that ball and sends it back to the neck, it's fireworks. He's out of there. He knows it. His nose positioning shows that he knows it. And then Mexican Heart completely whiffs. He's right there. Keeps it going. Firework doing the exact same thing, keeping his distance, but staying close enough to strike. And he does exactly that, sends it directly into the net. No problem so far opening up this first minute of competition. Very strong. All right, a spawn makes this a weird positioning. How do they recover? Quite nicely. I like Cryowolf. Look, this man is a second man on front and back, right? Okay, so I've mentioned, I know I've mentioned it before. We're going to talk again, right? We have second man upfield who plays in the middle of the field and about this area. That's on offense. On defense, we have a similar second man who can fit anywhere around here. This man is normally on rotation back. This man's main job is to disrupt things as they happen. He can catch a demo in the middle of the field. He can come and stop a passing lane from developing. He can come and cut something off. Or he could just simply take his rotation to back post and do nothing if nothing is available. But Cryo, oh, hit the wrong button no there. But Cryo knows his job, knows the urgency to maintain possession, to stop the balls from coming in any closer. And watch, he has two players forward. Mexican's already gone back to the net. Fireworks on the ball, so he's got a net cover, a ball. He's got someone on the net, someone on the ball. Somebody needs to cut off those lanes. There he is. The ball pops out into a passing lane, and he's right there, the 50-50. That presence of mind to keep things going, to try to get that extension is what he was trying to do, but what it ended up happening was that 50-50. Either way, he put value. Right now, in this first minute and a half, the biggest contribution to these guys really pushing hard is the second man value that Cryo Wolf is giving on the front and back of the field. Solid touches is all it takes. Firework is going to make do with it all day. And Firework, I think, ended up getting almost an MVP of this entire series, right?
Yeah, I would say by far.
Right. People like Fireworks. They shine because of people like Cryo Wolf. Simple as that.
That is true. There was a lot of plays set up by Cryo that Firework was able to sneak in.
Mexican Hearts having an off game right there. That I mean, it kind of did get juked out of a little bit, but yeah, kudos to the other squad. But Mexican Hearts should have really had that red. So here's a little bit of Cryo Wolf not taking advantage of what he does have. A quick tap on the nose and this ball goes in instead of a front flip. Instead, a front flip sends it high and away. So this man's definitely not the main shooter of the team, although solid touches and shots are definitely possible from him. Look at this. Again, a work of great cutting. He's third man. So many people as third man really try to leave the play entirely and buy time. But this guy comes in, cuts it off early. The flip, maybe not necessary, but he is able to recover and go after the ball again. That tenacity to re-attack the ball twice, right? Re-attacks the ball here, gets down, re-attacks the ball again, and gets over another player. And then the formation of his team as they come to follow it up. This is near perfection. I don't like that color for this. Let's see. Oop. There we go. Yes. So you've got these guys and almost a perfect attack triangle, right? We don't have wide passes covered, but we have shallow passes covered. We have this entire zone of 50-50s covered, and this entire zone back here covered. So basically, the only part of the field that we don't have immediately covered is this. Basically, the far right third of the field. And you know what? That's a pretty fair deal. That is great coverage, a great approach to this game, to this ball, to this play. And you're going to see it come to fruition if I can get my Alt tab to work, right? There we go. Cryo tries to put it out. Firework is there. Notice how he's patient. Notice how these guys get to their spot. C2. They get to their spot and they chill. Firework knows where he wants to be and puts his brakes on. Mexican Heart, the same thing. Gets to where he wants to be and puts his brakes on. So many people feel the need to go for the big M word, right? They've seen pro players, they've seen replays, they've seen Verge coaching sessions to where they say, oh my God, the M word, momentum, momentum, momentum. Do not lose your momentum. No, it's the P word, position, position, position. Do not lose your position. Your nose in the right direction, your car on the right spot. And this is exactly Firework. Boom, 50-50. Immediately, Mexican Heart is able to come through because For Real is out here really getting 50s. He just demolished Muscle Man through one, but he just not able to do it a second time. The positioning as an entire squad, as a unit, was sublime.
And I think like throughout this entire series, except maybe the third game, which they did a lot of subbing, Heatwave was able to maintain possession for like 90% of the game, which obviously shown by how many times they've scored, really goes to kind of show what happens when you maintain that.
Yeah, and notice these guys are not playing slow. This is not a slow play style. This is something that it's so hard to get a lot of people to be convinced of. More breaks equals faster Rocket League, right? Speed in Rocket League, I said it 1,000 times, I'll say it again, comes from how you're positioned, not how fast you can move your car. Look at this. Mexican Heat and Cryo Wolf come to an impasse. Cryo Wolf turns back in, both of them driving fairly slowly, and he's just in the position to take it. Sending that now out mid. If he got a better pass, Mexican Heat would have had that pre-jump and right into the net. Neither one of them ever even came close to supersonic, but that ball bouncing in different directions, right? You think speed in Rocket League, you think how fast does my camera shift from left to right, up, down? That is your camera moving fast because the ball is bouncing between three pre-positioned targets that were already there, ready to work. Give yourself the space, give yourself the vision, make it happen. And then right here, you just see a little bit of how that Division 3 cannot hit open nets. All right, now they got space, firework. All right, look at this. Mexican Heat needs to leave, right? Mexican Heat needs time and space to get out of there because he was stuck in a minor little rule one. So he's leaving the play. There is no diamond player at the moment. So Firework is kind of playing this front part of the diamond where he has to play both roles temporarily while we wait for Mexican Heat to reestablish. So he's playing this shallow third man and this deep back second man, right? There's not too many passes across the net that he's going to be able to catch up to, but the net's completely opened. Almost nobody's there. All Cryo Wolf has to do is get this ball down in a shallow pass, and Firework is there. But if he loses the ball, he can easily turn and shadow and grab it, or just leave and let Mexican Heat come in and replace him. Very good positioning. It's really it's some of the best positioning I've seen anybody. As the game speeds up into the higher divisions, you start to lose some of this discipline. But finding a way to keep this discipline going at the high levels of speed, look at it. The slow play, the ability to be able to react to it lets him come right back in on this. And then, of course, few mistakes on being able to follow it up mechanically. And the communication between these guys, look at this. Mexican Heat's about to turn on this, and this is a team that cuts each other, so this is not unheard of, right? Cryo Wolf is making tons of cuts. Everybody is. But to be able to come into this and be able to communicate, look, Mexican Heat turns away and Firework comes in. He had the better momentum, angle, and position. CTwo, this is a team that's working almost perfectly together.
Yeah, they seem to be very in sync. And I mean, as a third, Mexican Heat's doing well. I mean, you can always see what their natural order of wanting to be is, which would be
Yeah.
Firework, Cryo, and then Mexican Heat. But I mean, even when they switch it up, like right there, I mean, he was still in a really good position to hit that ball. And I mean, if he would have just had a little bit more control over it, he could have made that.
Absolutely. And his Mexican, he does not seem to have the most mechanical ability on the team, but his positioning is such that even with his lower technical skill of Rocket League, he's still able to contribute to this team in a meaningful way. The touches are very nice. Look at that coming from Cryo Wolf. Noticing he is not going to be able to jump off that wall so dramatically because it's hard to tell from this angle, but that is far away from that wall. And Cryo just sends it in the perfect spot. Firewolf, he's there, he's ready, he sees it, and it's in. Firework, not Firewolf. Oh, now, remember I talked about everybody has a job? Well,
Oh yeah,
jobs break down when you think you're about to transition, right? When you think you're about to move from defense to offense. Everybody right now on the blue side believes that they're about to move from their defensive end onto an offensive push. So even though this is directly off of kickoff, nobody is really maintaining a job. Nobody is guarding net. Nobody's taking angles. Nobody's maintaining any semblance of real positioning. Instead, everybody's going to get resources and getting ready for the push. Well, don't do that. Keep your jobs in mind while you're gathering resources. Keep your job in mind. You have to be able to always be covering something. And look how nobody panics for this. Mexican Heat does not panic for that ball. He just lets Cryo go for it. Nice push out. Now we got Mexican Heat going a little bit too fast paced. We see his positioning breaking down just a little bit there. But all's well that ends well. They're starting to find a way to make it work. A little bit of panic and confusion, and that does it, right? Once that bump comes in from Mexican Heat, it forces everybody into the confusion box. You see all three players are right there at my confusion boxes. I don't think I need to explain them anymore to this audience.
yeah.
Yep, all three players are right there at it. You could tell this is about to go in. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts. This is about to go into their net, and you know what? It does. So be careful with that. If you do get bumped into the confusion box by a teammate, take the routes to leave. Backboard and away. That's a really good route. If nothing else is working, go up the backboard and just go over the net and leave. Oh, firework. Cut him up, firework. Oh, that was beautiful. And look how Mexican Heat's just sitting there, nice and patiently. If he needs me, he needs me. If he doesn't, he doesn't. It's all good either way. And look, when he doesn't need him, he does not chase the ball with him into the corner. He leaves the play to support his teammates. And then when it's clear that he doesn't need to go third, he maintains second. And he should have scored it. But look,
That would have
this
been a
is
nice way to cap off that.
it would have been great. This team's positioning is on a different level, CTwo. And it's
Yeah.
really why they've succeeded so strongly in this game. And some teams, they really give you the space, they really give you the freedom to position that well. They don't punish you, they don't make you try to think outside of the box or race for things, right? So this could have just been, an easy patch on the schedule, whatever, but still, the positioning that we just saw out of Heatwave was next level. There's so many moments in there that were textbook. The cuts that were made by Cryo Wolf, textbook. The times when Mexican Heat decide to go in or leave, textbook. The way that Firework played first man and also receiver, which is normally a second man job, was beautiful. It all flows so seamlessly together when it is done correctly. And you just saw a team at a low level play very high level positioning systems.
Oh
It,
yeah.
there was a Rocket League textbook of 101s, you would have some still frames of these guys on it. This is exactly how you need to be playing.
Yeah, and we did ask them in the post-match interview about their chemistry together, and it basically just boils down to they just know their own play styles and are able to just mesh together extremely well. And Mexican Heat is
Yes.
actually a sub for the Heat Wave team. I forgot who was in before, but knowing that they just have that depth within their team is very valuable, I believe,
And this is
from
something
past experience.
right. And this is something I talk about all the time. Know yourselves. You need to know who you are as a team, and know who each other are as individual players, right? Everybody thinks like, oh, I'm first, second, third, but you need to be able to do it all. Well, you just saw all these players fill into their roles while at the same time doing all jobs on the field. And it was very obvious who did what job, but it was very obvious they were all capable of doing each other's. And they were knowledgeable on who they were as a unit, as a team, right? They are a team that likes to cut. They give themselves the spaces to do that. They are a team who likes to be patient. So when a person is sitting in third man, the second man knows, hey, I have the freedom to cut third man because he's not going to ego and force me out of this positioning. They know who they are as a unit. And so many of these things that looked like they were highly communicated, I guarantee you about 50% of them had zero comms on it whatsoever, other than maybe a couple, right?
Oh
Because
yeah.
those things are instinctual. And that's what this game needs to be. It needs to be instinct.
Yeah, I mean, just and some of them, just how fast they were going. I was thinking to myself while sitting here, I was like, I have no idea what you'd even say to let someone know that you were about to jump
Yes,
up, especially when they pre-jump. There's no time to get that communicated, but they
exactly.
understood each other.
Exactly. That's why I always say communication is the icing on top. It is important, right? A birthday cake is not a birthday cake without the icing. It's just simple fact, right? Unless you're just weird or you're going for a healthy version, right?
Yeah.
You need the icing. You need communication, but it is not the cake. And to take your issues of double committing, take your issues of not knowing what each other are doing, and blaming it on communication is a band aid at best. You need to know who you are as a team, how you want to interact with each other, how you will interact with each other. What does this guy do? Cryo Wolf is going to cut a lot, but when he does, value will come. If I see him in front of me, turn his nose, pump the brakes, let him do it. He's probably about to drop me a dime. Know each other, and that stuff will come in second nature. This is a beautiful example of how Rocket League should be played, and I'm very glad to take. You know, I thought it was going to be a challenge at lower levels to find what they did right, but in this case, it really was easy.
Yeah. Well, is there I think we are out of time. Is there
Yep.
anything you'd like to say before we get out of here, Scully?
Everybody, as always, keep two people out of no man's land, transition correctly, and give each other space. Know yourselves, know your teams, and hell yeah.
Well, thank you guys for watching. I hope that these breakdowns are helpful for your teams and are able to take what we've gone over here and apply these strategies to your teams and players. If you would like a consultation from Coach Scully, you can inquire by sending him a direct message on Twitter at mpgcoach_Scully. And this weekend, we will have the after. Well, I assume this will come out Sunday evening. So we will probably know the playoff situation going on. But we will have the Division 1, 2, and 3 playoff this weekend. We will do a special recording of Unscripted on Tuesday, which I believe will come out Wednesday. So, and I'm not sure if we will do a breakdown next week, but you can view these matchups on twitch.tv/Slips League Championships. And for more information into the league, you can visit slips.io. And thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.